No matter how many times I hear Blanchett deliver that line, it still is just, it still gets me. Like it still, I want to know what she sees, you know, what she's getting at. How did you, when you read that line's in the book as well, and it's a description of the character you're playing, how did you try to internalize the description flung out of space?
I really didn't. I mean, it was definitely a line when I was sort of prepping for the movie that sort of perturbed me. I didn't really understand what she meant by it or what there was about Therese in the script that would make her say that. I didn't really understand it. And I don't think I did until I saw the film, really. But isn't that sort of the way people see things in you that you don't really see in yourself?
Well, I think you also once said that you could almost imagine someone describing you that way, Rooney. Maybe not.
I don't know. I mean, I think someone did say that. If anything, that's the way I feel about Kate. That's the way I felt about Kate the first time I saw her.
And Elizabeth.
Yeah, I was like, where did this creature come from?
Right.
Yeah.
So Phyllis Nage, the brilliant screenwriter of Carol, do you know this, that she said that in very small gestures you remind her of Highsmith?
Yeah, she told me that a few months ago. Luckily, thank God she didn't tell me that while we were shooting, because I would think I would have been self-conscious about it. But yeah, she told me that a few months ago.
I think she referred to a cat-like quality, which is very evocative, actually. I can sort of see what she means. What is the secret to a almost completely internalized performance? I mean, you've said to me before that you do, as you just said before, have a sort of very strong bullshit meter. You wear, you know, you can't fake it. Is that what makes this performance so revelatory?
I mean, I don't know, I guess so. It was definitely something that really scared me about it while I was preparing for it. Like, oh, am I going to do enough? How is this going to look up against? It was definitely something that I wasn't sure of. And then I just had to trust that Todd, was getting everything that he needed and trust his eyes. Because you just never know as an actor if what you're doing is working or not. And you don't know what the camera's going to see or what it's going to pick up. But the internalization part, that's not something I really have to work on. Mm-hmm. If anything, it's something I have to try and turn off. I was fired from a job once, the only time, and that was one of the things they said to me. They were like, you just have too much inner life. This girl doesn't have any inner life. And I was like, I hope for the movie's sake that she does have some.
Please. To talk about the first scene we saw, I think I'd like to ask about the very apolitical qualities of Carol that are extraordinary. I mean, that's the only time I think where you ever get a sense that
we're talking about gay people.
Gay people, right?
Yes, those people. That's one of the things I love about the film is that it doesn't have any sort of political agenda. Therese doesn't even have the language to describe or understand what it is she's going through. She doesn't have the judgment because it's not even on her radar. If it was, I don't think she would be so earnest and candid with Richard to ask him that question. I think there's a line in the book where Therese would never even, it never even crossed her mind that she could be in love with Carol because Carol's a woman and that's not even a possibility to her. So it's one of the things I love about the movie and especially love about that scene is just sort of how naive and innocent the whole thing is. Yeah,
and really, I mean, that's the mastery of it, is that it's never trying to convince us of anything, it's...
Yeah, I think that's one of the brilliant things that Todd gave to the film, is the film feels like we could have just found it, that it had been made in 1952. It doesn't feel like a film that was made in 2013, with what we know, with the judgment of what we know now, looking back and making a film about a time. It really
Right.
feels so true to the time, and it's not sort of pushing a message or an agenda on anyone, so I think it really allows the audiences to watch the film without their defenses up, because we're not pushing anything on them, and so it really is a pure experience watching the film, and you just get to, you know, watch these two people fall in love, and they happen to be two women.
Well, I've even had that I've been vulnerable to that experience of like those people who want to see Carol Part 2, and thinking about who would Therese be today. I mean, she's the same age as Edie Windsor is right now, right? I mean, there's something sort of poetic about that, wondering about the almost an origin story or something, you know, for this character who I think it is perhaps the best film that addresses the issue of coming out without ever saying that that's what it's about.
Yeah.
You know, talk for a second too about the brilliant decision by Todd to create a framing device in the film. So it starts with us seeing two women having drinks, and then comes back there again.
Yeah, the first time I'd read the script was before Todd was on board, and then I read it again over a year later when he was on board, and that was one of the biggest changes that had happened to the script, and it just made such a big difference. And I mean, really, when you see the film, it just really it was such a brilliant thing that he did to the script and to the film. It just, you know, the way that he plays with the point of view in the film. It just really, it allows for you to see it from both sides. And you know, the book is written entirely from Therese's point of view, and so Carol really is just sort of this object of desire throughout the book. She's never really a real person. And I think it's one of the brilliant things about the film is that you do get that flip of point of view, and you get to be with whoever is the more vulnerable party in the relationship is at the time, and yeah.